Okay, so here we go. Um, my topic for today's presentation is learning and aging, the key drivers. I'm Shalu Singh, and I'm an instructor, business and digital marketing with CDI College Surrey and Burnaby. The coverage for today's slot is going to be like, we'll talk about our mind, the beautiful mind. That's what I have listed it as. We'll talk about a couple of drivers of learning. If we dig into the literature, guys, there are a lot of learning drivers, but I have, for the sake of simplicity and for the sake of presentation, I've just kept four: age, memory, anxiety, and curiosity. We'll talk about a couple of stagnation in learning, and towards the end, we'll talk about key learning takeaways and references. So let's start. Our beautiful mind plays tricks. Sometimes it is helpful, sometimes it is frustrating. Yeah, it just happened with me when I just starting my class on the Zoom. And I was a little frustrated at how the things are going to be like on Zoom. Yeah. So this tricky mind is sometimes helpful and sometimes actually make us feel nullified. Why does it happen? It happens because there is a lot of information outburst around us. Today, we are living in a digital world. We are living in an information age. And with lots of information in our mind, sometimes we feel kind of messed up. Yeah. And this messing up feeling gets more prominent as we age because we are engulfed with a lot of thoughts and a lot of pressure, social pressure, family pressure, career pressure, and progressions and all that stuff. So henceforth, selective learning becomes an essential part of human aging process, right? And when I say selective learning, it means that a part of things which goes into our mind, we sometimes tend to forget it. And that's where we say, oh, I have a memory loss. I just forgot it. Okay. But please remember, it's not about forgetting, it's just about selective learning. Now I would like to show you one interesting demonstration, and I would like somebody to participate in that. So Vicky, if you can do the needful, okay?
Yes,
So there are three triangles in front of you. Can you read out the phrases, please?
yes. Oh, my Spanglish. Two birds hiding in the bush.
Yeah.
In the bush.
Yeah.
It's twice.
Oh,
Singing a song by the singer.
yeah.
And let's go and dance in the rain. That's like me typing. I do that stuff. I repeat
Okay.
words.
Okay. So I must admire Vicky because in her Spanish accent of English, she was able to catch to the everywhere. Okay. But had it been any normal person, yeah, applauses. Yeah. Had
I
it
want
been,
my candy.
yes, yes, applauses, kudos for you, right? So, but then hadn't been any normal person, he would have read two birds in hiding in the bush, singing a song by the singer, and let's dance in the rain. Okay. Now, why did it happen? Why does it happen? Why do we miss on one D? It happens because our mind is making tricks. Yeah. We did mistakes because mistake made a sense to us. Okay. It didn't make a sense to Vicky because Vicky was talking in Spanish English. So maybe she was, she bypassed everything of the
The
stuff.
secret.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. So, guys, as we move on in our life, as we, look onto these tricks which are played by the mind, our memory also sometimes plays the trick. Yeah. And sometimes we tend to forget the things which otherwise we look onto in our environment. Now, let me show you a couple of logos in front of you. We all know, we all have been using Apple. Can you identify the right logo? Mendado, can you do the needful? The right Apple logo?
The right upper logo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
like
one's
which one?
correct?
Which one is correct? Yes.
Which one is correct?
I have a Samsung. I don't know.
You can
Number
give a
six.
try.
Number six.
Excellent, excellent. But Mandado, did it take you a while thinking? I mean, putting a stress on your
Yeah,
mind that which
yeah,
exactly is the correct one? Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, Guys, this I have taken from one of the research studies which was done in UCLA. And in that research studies, the professors of psychology, they proved that about 50%, in fact, more than 50% of the people were unable to recall the actual logo, right? So the point is that we are not able to recall it because we do not have the need to remember Apple logo. Okay. And
Yeah.
sometimes this failed retrieval happens because
Oh.
our memory is fading away as we are aging. Okay, that's what is put on in the literature. Yeah. So, but then the point here is it the memory which is failing away? Is it the memory which is fading away? Or is it some other learning which is happening? So the point is that even if you forget things at a time, learning still happens. So having told you, having shown you this slide, guys, and having shown you the Apple logo, trust me, you're not going to forget it ever now. So even in forgetfulness, the learning has happened. Okay. So, but then what do we adults do? We adults normally have this tendency that we tend to be very, very conservative when it comes down to accepting our failures. Yeah. And guys, one of the things which I really admire, just to add on further to the failures, is one of the techniques called storytelling. Yeah. And in the night time when I sleep, two of my kids, both my children, they come to me for about half an hour. They sit with me in the bed, and they listen to stories. And in those stories, my elder one, who's 12, she is very particular about asking about my failures in my life and what did I learn out of it. Okay. So my point of telling you this is that in order to enhance our memory, failure and repetitive learning can actually contribute to the long term learning of a human being, right? So, the next factor, which actually is a hindrance when it comes down to learning while we age, is anxiety. And this actually happens with most of the adult learners, including us, maybe today as well. Okay, it's happening on this platform also somewhere when we are presenting. So why does anxiety happens? Anxiety happens because sometimes we label a test as a test. Guys, there have been research studies in various departments of various universities in psychology, wherein they say that if a teacher does not label a test as a test, the performance metrics actually go different. Yeah. And this is something which we can put into practice in our teaching world as well, right? So in order to enhance learning, there is something called associations, and I strongly endorse associations. They say that to put your learning into practice and to actually enhance your neurons in your brain, you try to develop associations with some things about some things. Okay. So those associations help you to recollect the things in a faster way. Now, let me do one quick recall test on you guys. I'm going to show you a couple of words. Okay. And you, after, I'll give you some time, about 30 seconds. You need to send me those words in the chat box, and I'll see how many words are you able to recollect. Try to use this method of association, and trust me, you will be able to recollect a lot of things, right? So I'm projecting the words in front of you. Snow, pizza, home. I'm not going to speak. Take 30 seconds, and when I say send, then you can send me the words in the chat box.
So we have to copy them in the chat box now?
Just have a look. You're not supposed to copy, you have to send me the
Oh.
words. Okay, now send me the words which you're able to recollect. Come on.
I was
Oh
distracted.
gosh.
I
Oh
was
Oh
gosh,
my.
come on, run.
Ay, ay, ay.
Derek, flood, pizza, PIDP. PIDP, everybody
Wait.
remembers.
I wanted to
PIDP.
put, I am
Tacos.
making a
I
thing.
don't remember.
That's my association.
Oh, thank you. Guys, did you notice one thing? Most of you have sent me the word PIDP.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Because that's
easy.
what we all are engaged in. We are able to develop an association. Okay. So I'm just trying to tell you those learning tactics and just memorizing tactics. So as we age, we have this tendency to lose onto the things. But if we develop associations, our memory gets sharpened and we are able to recall the things. Okay. So the next thing, which actually pays you in the long run from the learning perspective as we all age, is curiosity. This, I love this quotation by Albert Einstein. He said that I have no special talents, but then I am only passionately curious. as long as we are curious to know and learn, we keep on sharpening our skills as we move along. Now I'm going to project two questions in front of you, and just let me know if you know the answers for them. My first question to you is, which was the first product in the world to have the barcode? Make wild guesses.
Barcode.
Coca-Cola.
Oh, that's a wild guess. Yeah, good.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
No,
Huh?
no,
Ah.
not actually. So now,
Like a wow, Vicky. Wow.
are you curious to know the answer, guys? Are you curious to know the answer? Which is the first product which ever got the barcode? It was Wrigley's. Yeah, Wrigley's. Yeah, that was the first product ever to get the barcode. Now,
What's
next
that
question.
product?
That's a chewing gum, we say.
Ah, okay. Okay.
That's a gum. Yeah, chewing gum. Yeah. The next question is, which nation was the first one to give the right of voting to women?
UK.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I think it's a Nordic country, but I don't know.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh,
Oh,
Norway.
Norway, Sweden, Finland.
Oh. Okay.
Denmark.
Okay. So let me tell you the answer for this. If you have that curiosity now to know that which is the country, that's New Zealand. That was the first
Oh.
country. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the point is, guys, which I want to prove here is that as long as you keep your instinct for curiosity awakened all the time, the memory keeps on sharpening on its own, and learning, it keeps on happening. There is no age for it. Now let's come down to stagnation in learning. When does stagnation happens? Stagnation happens when we are not able to do an interchanging between the learning zone and the performance zone, right? It's very important that we learn things, we go back to our performance zone, apply, we stop our performance zone for some time, come back, we practice, learn again, and then go back to the performance zone. Okay, so if this cycle is not complete, learning can never happen. Now let me give you one example of Demosthenes. This man Demosthenes, I took this picture from the internet only. Demosthenes was one of the greater orators and lawyers of ancient Greece. Yeah. And when it was his time to act as an orator, he performed masterfully. But then there were times when he used to stop his lordship and used to go back and enhance his performance. What did he do? Number one, he used to practice in front of mirror, because speech is an important part of a lawyer's profession. Number two, he used to go to the sea, practice his voice over the waves, because he wanted to enhance the capacity of his voice. Number three, he used to go to theater to learn the art of persuasion. Why did he do that? Because being a lawyer, he needs to have the art of persuasion. And then after improving his learning zone, he used to come back and perform. Another example, Beyonce. We all know Beyonce. Now, this lady Beyonce, she is the top star of the world. We all know it. But then, in spite of being number one, after her concert is done, she comes back to her hotel room. She looks onto the video of her concert. She makes notes, give the notes to the teams so that the improvements can be done in the very next concert. So my point is, learning and performance zone should go interchangeably, one with another, right? So to sum up, memory mistakes are nothing. I don't believe in this. It is just about adaptive selection. Yeah. And as you move in your life, guys, we all tend to get better with experience. We forget the things which are not important. We move on with the things which are important for us. Please remember, know what you need to know. Forget the rest. There is no harm in forgetting. Forgetting is not bad as long as you know what to focus on. And at the same time, let us all build the skills in the learning zone and apply in the performance zone. So that's all from me today. And the references has been a couple of TED Talks, which I always keep on listening to. And my major reference has been from A.D. Castle's work, who happens to be the professor of psychology in UCLA. That's all.
Oh,
Excellent.
what a beautiful presentation. I
Yeah.
really loved it.
That was so
Thank you.
informative.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any
Yeah,
feedback?
you were lecturing a lot, but I got everything. I was like super captivated by you. I usually kind of lose attention when people talk a lot, but you were like kind of like hypnotizing me.
Oh, thank you so much. Any feedback, guys? Any improvement area I shall appreciate. I've been into teaching for 16 years. I've been into training with DDI. I've trained employees for General Motors. I'm a trainer and a freelancer. So now, after 10 days, I'm going to join a multinational corporation. I'm moving on to now back to my industry so that I enrich my profile once again before I go back again to teaching after some time.
Right.
So, so I keep on, jumping from teaching to corporate and then corporate to teaching so that, I keep on learning new things. And yeah, so
Awesome.
yeah. Any other feedback I shall appreciate? Derek, I've seen you. You are a very good observer. You are a great observer. Yeah. So
It's one of my knacks for my trade, right? I need to be very in tune with equipment, mechanical, odd noises, all that different stuff. So it's a skill that I've picked up over the years. One of the tendencies that I've been seeing, and even with PowerPoints, right? They want you now, they say, don't make it too busy because people can't read and listen at the same time, less than 10 words. I agree with that and don't agree with it all at the same time. I think it's a common truth now, compared to what it used to be, because our attention spans are so short, right? So we want something to look at to give us a hook. But we want to listen to the material at the same time. But it's like what you were saying, associating. If I associate a picture that you're showing me with your lecture, I'm going to recall it.
yes.
Right. And so it's like one of those memory recalls things that I said that I learned, that I've tried, never really worked for me. It works for some things, but they say build a house. When you're meeting new people, you build an imaginary house, and when you meet somebody, you think in your mind what room you met them in, whether it's a living room, dining room. You put everybody that you meet in a different room of the house, so that when you go back to them, you go, oh, where did I see you last? In your mind, you go, right, I saw you in the dining room. That was Dave that I saw in the dining room. And you can remember their names much better because you're doing a little trick of association, right?
Yes.
You create a house, you walk through the house, you put things down in the house, and then when you want it, you go back looking through it in your mind in the house that you met, and you'll be able to recall information.
Yes.
I had something to say about that because I did that of creating the house, but then it wasn't working for me. And when it started working, that I am super amazed when I started using my grandparents' house in my mind, because it's a house that I really knew, like more than in my own even. And when I started doing that, I can put like things I had to remember, people's names, like whatever, because I have it so well. And the more I compartment it, like the front door, the hall, and like the more compartments I do, the more things I can put inside.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
then it
believe
started
you.
working.
I think you have to use a house that's not your own, because in my house, I regularly lose my keys. I can't associate with my own house. It needs to be another house that I know very well, that I'm not at very often.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Okay, guys. Thank you so much. I stopped the recording. Just 1 second.
I think that you did